This is the MK Ultra conspiracy theory. So there was a top secret CIA project that started in 1953, and it didn't end until 1973. If my math is adding up, that's about 20 years of human experimenting. I mean, you see, this ain't a joke. The government was using psychedelics like LSD to experiment on people's minds. Of course they use other drugs, like MDMA, magic mushrooms, went as far as using heroin on people. The idea was to break the human mind. That way they can control and slip thoughts of their own, and even different personalities, essentially creating super soldiers. Does it look familiar? This man right here, Franklin Olson, a scientist for the CIA, went on a CIA retreat, took a sip of his cocktail and realized that he got spiked with LSD. And after that, he was found dead in his New York City hotel from an alleged overdose. But let me know in the comments what you think. Follow for more. And as always, y'all be safe out there.
Charles Manson, the son of a prostitute, spent most of his life in and out of prison, spending most of the time in rather than out. That wasn't until the CIA project called MK Ultra started. The government wanted to know if they could create a Manchurian candidate through LSD, someone they could control and have complete missions, and then have no memory of it after the fact. Charles Manson was granted parole and assigned a Berkeley doctoral student named Roger Smith as his parole officer. Despite the fact Manson violated his parole numerous times, he was left a free man. Manson received not only LSD from the government, but also training on how to have complete control over people, thus starting the infamous Manson family.
Did you know that the World Economic Forum just released technology that could read your mind? And the speaker claimed that is already being used today. But the plan is to implement these earbuds, and these earbuds would read your brainwaves and project them on a screen, with the sole purpose of being monitored by a superior. They'd be able to look at these brainwaves, which would be read and categorized into 3 categories, with the first 2 being work-related, and the third, not so much. And if you're noticed being outside of what they call productive, tones can be sent out through the headphone that when received, the brain will instantly make you more productive and focused on work. So in a sense, mind control is already being tested in 5,000 different companies around the world, including the feature that actually shocks the person wearing the headphones if their mind gets off track. There's some concern this is part of a long plan to be implemented into a slave state. Even the speaker acknowledged that in the wrong hands, this could be the most oppressive technology ever created.
In the near future, DARPA may possess the technology to remotely control the human mind. But as concerning as that may be, according to some scientists, a more permanent kind of mind control technology is looming. And it involves modifying the human brain by altering the human body's DNA.
The future of mind control, and the future being right now because these experiments are being done, is using gene editing tools. And one of them would be CRISPR. The way it works is take the CRISPR, which are these short alternating repeats of DNA. You put that together with an enzyme called Cas. And so you take the CRISPR that you want to use, and you put these pieces together that can be injected and insert this DNA to certain areas of the brain so that we can change brain cells and turn you into something you wouldn't otherwise be. So in this way, gene editing technologies like CRISPR really form a definite basis for future mind control.
And so if you want, which is what they do want, a world government, a world central bank, a world army, an amalgamation of NATO and the UN peacekeeping operation, a world currency, electronic, no cash, and a microchip population, then what you've got to do, and this is the way they work, a process I call problem, reaction, solution, you've got to keep creating the problems, get the people to react, do something in fear and outrage, all of what's happening, what they're going to do about it, and then they, who've covertly created the problem, offer the solutions to the problems they've created, which is the constant centralization of power. That's what all the solutions are. And we're seeing such a wonderful example now with what's happening in the financial industry. Absolutely. And if we don't wake up, we're going to live in a global fascist dictatorship within 5 to 10 years.
This is the most sinister game that never existed. It all starts in the 1980s in an arcade in Portland, Oregon. Polybius was alleged to be a vector graphics game in which the player has to shoot geometric shapes while noises and patterns flash on screen. The urban legend said that the game itself caused side effects ranging from headaches and migraines to seizures, and in some cases, even suicide. The myth then goes on to detail that mysterious men in black will come in frequently to inspect the Polybius machine before taking notes and leaving without saying a word. It was alleged after a few months, the machine was quietly removed from every arcade in Portland and was never heard from again. What is more interesting is that the company that was said to have created the game, Cineslotion, translated to English, reads sensory deprivation, and all of these things were going on roughly at the same time as proven psychological government experiments. That is why many claim that
Nazi scientists knew that there were certain things, chemicals, that they could put in food and water and medication to dumb down the brain, damage the body, make the person weaker so that they could be more controllable. Things like fluoride, chlorine in the water, mercury and aluminum in your food. All these things, when you ingest them, basically create heavy metal toxins in your body. And after a while, you become like a walking antenna. You become almost metallic. You pick up the ELF and microwave signals, the scalar waves that are transmitted from satellites and cell phone towers, etc., so that you're constantly available for programming 24/7.
So do y'all remember when I talked to y'all about Black Mirrors, right? Imagine you looking at this Black Mirror, which is on my phone right now and on the TV that you've been watching for 2 hours. And not to mention that the portals that are being opened while you're watching the movie. There are many different ways these entities can infiltrate your spirit. Portals can be opened from water, mirrors, your TV, walking into specific energetic places. Y'all gotta really be careful because there's a lot of spiritual warfare going on right now. They just looking for a way to feed off energy from you. I'm telling y'all right now, especially in this time, be very careful with your energy. Because there are entities, beings on the other side trying to infiltrate your mind. People like him were not born evil. These negative entities take advantage of the low vibrational feelings that you feel on this plane. They come to you through your friends, your parents, frustrating situations that could possibly make you even more angrier, even more lower. So they can take over and turn you into something that you don't even recognize. Nobody just wakes up and wants to kill children. Whenever you feel low thoughts or thoughts that you haven't thought about in a while, something that's trying to trigger you and bring you back to that lower state that you were in the past. If you start to feel anxiety, overthinking about things you shouldn't be thinking about, you start to feel like this world is helpless. Your thoughts are not your own. Your mind has been infiltrated by one of these beings. And this is a prime example. Mind infiltration is very real. With the world changing and the laws and the things that's illegal now, these entities can't infiltrate people like they used to. Now, back in the day, it was very, very easy for them to be able to do heinous things in order to feed that negative energy. Just think about it. All that negative energy that these people have produced on this earth. Crowds, kids, showing up just to watch somebody get tortured. You don't think that was evil and negative entities walking around?
All right, peep this because it's important. Slavery was a ritual. Rape equals humiliation. Lynching equals blood sacrifice. New names equal detachment from ancestral roots. Torture equals psychic attack. Biblical brainwashing equals loss of spiritual power. Slavery was a spell that bred the dysfunction as a community.
I want y'all to realize that all of the people that he killed, holding on to their bones, eating them, that's not what a regular human would do. That energy absorption was an infiltrated entity, and he let that entity take control of him. Same thing. Same thing. Everything that is done is just an exchange of energy. Even watching this is an exchange of energy. I told you, your mind is like a sponge. Everything that you let into your aura, your reality, your mind, your influence, you absorb it. That's why it's good to keep positive energy around you and vibrate on that level. Really be careful and recognize when you are not in control of yourself. Sometimes your thoughts are not your own. That is the dark side of these situations. Especially to go as far as to intake flesh like that. I told y'all, when y'all eating meat, it's just transferring dead energy into you. Whatever that animal felt at the time of their death, that is what you're taking in. The violence it took to get your need. The violence it took to get his need. Be careful with yourself. Stay dangerous.
Think you understand political party. You're all full of crap. You don't know what the Illuminati is. If you're Republican or you're Democrat, you're wrong. Why? It's this easy. It's called divide and conquer. That's why there's two parties and only two. and they're controlled by the same people at the very top who belong to the Council on Foreign Relations, the Bilderberger Group. They also belong to the Trilateral Commission, and you people don't even know what the hell that is. But if you did know, you would know that these are the people that control your world by making global policies that you never vote on, and by which parties both serve and belong to these organizations and control your world. Now, here's how it works. Really easy. Divide and conquer can only work if the people that are divided are not aware of the falsely created division. If you're not aware of it, then it works. If you know about it, then it don't work no more. If you have socialism without capitalism, it becomes communism. If you have capitalism without socialism, it becomes fascism. And it's just that easy. I love you. That's all you need to know. That's why Masonic symbols are all over your freaking money. But you don't pay attention.